Hey y'all, Dr. J here. I want to talk today about the gamification of performance. And those of us in sales know this environment very, very well, which is, you have leaderboards, you have contests, right? You have things that people are driving for. And, they can be very powerful. They can provide some quick wins, provide some good motivation. Salespeople like to be, like to have goals that we strive towards. So these are all very powerful things. Some cautionary tales to provide. I think this is pretty low hanging fruit, which is, you need to make sure your goals, especially if you've got a leaderboard that everybody sees, you need to make sure that those goals are achievable, right? I'm not a big fan of putting goals out there that can't actually be reached, or all you're going to end up with is demotivated teams. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with the finance team who said, no, we got to throw it way up here because this is where we got to go. And I'm like, yeah, and we're going to lose everybody if nobody hits those goals, right? So you need to make sure those goals are achievable. That's pretty low hanging fruit, right? You need to make sure that you've got some positive reinforcement, right? And that's really critical because you don't want to break psychological safety. If you blow psychological safety in your org, you blow performance. It's really that tight of a correlation there between those two. It has been directly tied, psychological safety and performance. So let's just make sure that you've got good positive reinforcement. Again, this is a pretty low-hanging fruit with regard to things to do. What I really want to point out is to make sure that you also have a team goal, right? So you've got individual goals on your leaderboard, and you've got a team goal that everybody as a team is striving for. And every good sports team knows what it's like. Every individual's got their own performance goals. They're striving towards things, and yet as a team, they need to win, right? And oftentimes in organizations, we lose that fundamental. Military is the exact same way, right? We're all driving as a team, and yet individually, we are seeking our own advancement. So the thing about the team goal is, driving a whole team towards something that's pretty obvious, right? The thing I want to point out is a missing piece in the why, right? So the low-hanging fruit on the why is that it creates a team-focused environment. Easy. What I also want to point out is that when you've done this enough times, you see what I'm about to say come to fruition, and that is, you've got people at the bottom who, when the whole team is motivated to go for a goal, you'll have people in there who will just do one more, or someone else just does two more, and the leader does just one more, so that the whole team can reach their goals. And what that does, aside from the whole team reaching the goal, which is again low-hanging fruit, very obvious, what it does is to the individual, to the person who isn't the top performer, when they do that one more, the intrinsic motivation, satisfaction that they receive from doing just one more is monumental. So then the next time you do it, they believe they can do it, and they're going to push just a little bit harder because they've had that success once. So if you do gamification of your performance, which if you run sales, you darn well better, you need to make sure you've got individual and team goals. You need to make sure you've got achievable goals. You need to make sure you're positively reinforcing, and you need to make sure you're really sending positive messaging so that those performers at the bottom can do just a little bit better, believe in themselves a little bit more, and strive just a little harder next time you're rocking a team goal, right? Performance gamification. All right, y'all. I wish you the best of luck in 2026. Peace to you.